Welcome, everybody. I am Katab Rollins, and welcome to NJPAC's 10 Newark Creators series on Instagram Live. We're interviewing Newark-based artists, entrepreneurs, and health workers about their craft and how they're adapting to our changing world. Today, I'm going to interview Chrystofer Davis, who is a photographer, filmmaker, and educator. I'm going to bring him in right now. Um, Hey, he's coming. There we go.
Hey, what's going on?
What's up, Chrystofer? How you doing?
I'm doing well. It's a nice day out. It's pretty chilly, but I think it's a pretty good day. Got a chance to go out and photograph.
You just did what?
No, I just went out, just photographed. Had a cup of coffee, and today's been a pretty good day so far.
Very good. I'm not feeling how chilly it's been the last couple of days, but that's just me. Um, I'm gonna let's jump right into everything. I like to always start off with something light and fluffy. So,
Mhm.
what made you smile today?
Well, definitely, like I said, just having a good cup of coffee today, and just the fact that I'm able to wake up, photograph and do what I love, daily. Just documenting Newark and just being from the city.
Mm-hmm. All right, love it. I smiled today because I got to groom and shave and haircut and all that, and I get to be happy all the time. So
Awesome.
on to
Yeah, I
more
definitely hear that.
serious matters. You were really active early in the pandemic, documenting everything on the ground. Tell me why you felt it was so important to chronicle the pandemic's impact on Newark.
Well, just from living here in the city, I always want to document the times and what exactly is happening during this time period. It's because for me, if you were to look at the history of New York, you can see it through the different timelines, whether if it was the 1920s, the 1930s, or the 40s. And sometimes when I look for older images of Newark, especially for people who lived here, I didn't really see a lot of images from the actual residents. And
Mm-hmm.
and for me, this is a serious time period, with like I said, that we're living in. And I felt that, it was important that, Newark has its documentation, because it's important, Newark deserves to be documented. And and for me, I feel like I am a trustworthy voice in the city. So I felt as though, some people, may be scared of what is actually happening and they don't know what exactly is happening outside. So I just felt as though, I'll go out, I'll document, I'll get the stories that are happening, in the streets of Newark and, put that out there.
Awesome. Are you a native Newarker or are you a transplant?
I am a native Newarker. I was actually born in Brooklyn in 1991, but I don't know too much of Brooklyn. It's like, I was born there, but I was instantly just, transplanted here to Newark. And, Newark is the only thing that I know. I've been here for what, 27 years now. So I can definitely call myself a native Newarker. I
Um,
love the city.
yeah, definitely. Um, So early on during the process and over the summer, what were some of the common themes that you noticed? Like, what was the mood like? What was kind of what in from your creative eye? What was the mood and life like in pandemic life?
Well, definitely for the pandemic, the main and common theme that I saw was just emptiness. I've always known Newark to be a lively place, just filled with people, vendors, and everyone just going about daily life, and everything just instantly vanished. At the start of the pandemic, and with some of my work, I do a lot of candid photography, so I capture people in their natural essence, and sometimes I'll walk up to somebody and get their portrait. Some people are a bit, shy and timid, to having a photograph taken. But, as I was going around, ask people if I get the photograph, like, photograph them in the mask and, ask them how their day is going. People are more open, because, they have a sense that, we're all going through this together and that, what, we have to look out for each other and we're a family. And yeah, I just think that the common theme was just togetherness, even though we socially distance and we try to stay away from each other, but I just feel like there was a lot of togetherness and a lot of camaraderie, uh,
I,
during
I
the beginning of the
I agree with
pandemic.
that. How did you find and maintain your happy through all this kind of chaos that we were all living in?
Well, it was just continually just practicing my craft. Whether if it was like I said, just going out and just photographing, or just doing some kind of research, or even developing, at home. I try to think of creative ways. Either collaborate with some of my colleagues or try a new medium.
Hmm.
Like I started doing, like an audio project. Just vocally documenting, my time during this pandemic, and even writing. I feel like I just found, I just thought about a lot of ideas of, what I can do. I can work on, ongoing projects. And, those are some of the things that just keep me happy, just staying submerged, into my craft. And just like I said, even though, there was nobody out in the streets and I do a lot of, candid work, I still tried my best to, document as much as I could and just, keep going.
When did you discover that you loved photography? How did you get into it?
Well, first, so as a kid, I had to be around maybe 8 or 9. I was
Hmm.
going on vacation with my parents, and back then, I wasn't shooting with a digital camera. It was more so like a disposable film camera.
Hmm.
And so we were in the Bahamas. We were on a water taxi on Paradise Island. And I asked my mom, like, "Hey, can I get the disposable camera? I want to go around and shoot for a little bit." So I'm just being a kid, photographing all around on the boat, photographing across the waters, and it wasn't until the moment, and I remember this moment visually. It'll never I can never forget it. It was like a perfectly composed shot of the stairway that was going on top of the actual boat, and right in the middle was the sun. And not
Mm.
and not having the the knowledge of photography as far as like the rule of thirds and just different rules of photography. I actually kneeled down and pointed the camera up, and then I took the shot, and I just knew from like that day I wanted to get in photography. But further on in life, in high school, my social studies teacher, we actually had a free period during class, and he actually, invited me over to his desk. He said, "You know what? I want you to go around, the high school. This is Central High School in Newark, and just go around, taking photos." He said, "Just go around, take photos of the faculty, staff, and students." And like I said, he just handed me the camera, and the rest is history.
Were you in Central while Mayor Baraka was there?
Yes.
Okay.
Ross Baraka was my principal during that time. I was in
Right.
so every time he sees me, he just like, "What's going on?" His former student, and yeah, it's just really good that he remembers me.
It was a proud moment when like a faculty member at a school like sees any of the students doing great things around, especially
Mhm.
if they're still in their city. So,
Right.
um, what kind of training did you how what kind of training have you had in photography? How have you educated yourself?
Well, it was just, I feel like, I actually am a self-taught photographer. When I was in
Hmm.
college, going on from high school, I told myself that I wanted to become a photographer.
Hmm.
But, as I was coming into college, I went to Bloomfield College, which is like not too, it's like 20 minutes away from here.
Hmm.
And while I was coming in, they were ending the photography program. So then I said to myself, I'll go into the next best thing, which is filmmaking.
Mm, okay.
And I just feel like throughout that period of time, throughout college, I started training myself, doing trial and error. And, once, I broke into the industry, I actually started, shooting for a FUBU, Urban Outfitters, Puma, and just, many other, great companies. And then, I moved on to doing film photography. And film
Hmm.
photography was definitely a challenge. I had to slow down my process. I had to learn pretty much the ins and outs, of photography and how to correctly expose a picture. And, I just feel like it was just all through, just trying to grow and develop as an artist and to just better myself.
Love that. Loved it. Um, this past Sunday, you and Gabe Ribeiro
Hmm.
ran the Newark Photo Walk, which
Yes.
looks like it was brought to, which looked like it had about 100 people or so.
Hmm.
How did that come about?
Well, so in my mind, well, I always wanted to have a photo walk. I thought of the idea last year, and it just never fell through. And we were doing, during the pandemic. I was still thinking about having it this year, but I didn't think it would be possible. Because of all the rules and regulations that we have to follow. But it just came upon me. You know what? I was like, let's just do something for the community. Let's do something to have people just decompress and have something to look forward to. So it was just a random moment. So this around September 3rd, I reached out to Gabe. I was like, hey, I want to put together a photo walk. Like let's collaborate and let's put something together for the community. And he was well along with it. We planned out an entire route that I had in mind. He created the graphics, he created the pins, and then I said, hey, you know what? Traditionally, I raffle off a camera at events. So I was like, hey, like let's raffle off a camera. I'll raffle off a tote. He raffled off a few things, and you know what? We just put it out there for the people. I told him I was expecting about 10 people to show up at minimum. Then he
Mm-hmm.
said, no, no, no. He was like, no, no, no. 30 people are going to show up. And I was like, perhaps. And as soon as before the event even happened, like 10 people were already there before us. They showed up. And I was just like, wow, like people are really, they really want something to do. And as the time continued to, come forward, would show up. 10 more people show up. And I didn't even realize because, I was in the crowd, but when I look back, I was like, wow, like this is a large amount of people. And as we were composing everybody to sit up on the
Yeah.
steps, we saw it was about 100 people that was sitting on the steps, and I'm just glad that everybody had a great time. Everybody wore a mask. Everybody socially distanced, and we pretty much want to put this event together to you know build community, to bring people together, to have something where we can go out, do what we love. Even if you didn't have a fancy camera, we encourage you to have bring out your cell phone camera. A lot of people become famous photographers just off of their cell phone work. And like I said, it was just an overall great turnout.
Yeah.
And like I said, we had a chance to educate the people because on September 13th, not a lot of people know that the very film that we shot on many years ago and we're still shooting today was actually invented in Newark.
Mm-hmm.
And there were people who came out from Manhattan, Philadelphia, South Jersey, you name it, the Bronx. They want to come out and experience this. So it wasn't just Newark residents that wanted to take part of the photo walk. It was just people from all over. And I was just happy that I could just bring
Newark
people
is the birthplace of
together.
film.
Yes, Newark is the birthplace of film, man, and it's revolutionary. We had some kind of impact on photography up to this day, and people are still shooting film.
Let me interrupt you.
Mhm.
I didn't even know about it until after it happened. How did you conduct it? Like, what was the experience like for a person that showed up with the camera?
Well, pretty much, you know what we created some ground rules for people because the crowd, whether for professional or amateur or you just have love for photography, it was just more so just like a building kind of group. You know what? And I told the attendees that rule number one is leave your ego at the door because like I said, a lot of people they come here and they said they're not professional photographers. Some of them may be starting out or they may be a bit shy. So we wanted to pretty much just have everybody just help each other out. In times where they want to try to take a shot, but they may not know how to. And even so, there were a lot of other film photographers there, and I said, you know what, the first 10 photographers that show up, I'm going to give you a roll of film because in this day and age, film is starting to get a bit expensive because it's becoming more popular. And we just directed
Right.
them around the city. They can come and visit, the city hall, Treat Street where the murals are, especially the Newark is for Artists
Mm-hmm.
mural. That's very popular now,
Oh,
and
love that.
it was, yeah, Gabe, he actually put that together. So we had everybody take shots out there. Then we went to the Womb of Violet mural, and like I said, we pretty much just traveled all around Newark, just going to different notable spots and new notable spots. Just so that way
Yeah,
people can get good photo ops and they can enjoy their time and learn a bit about Newark.
I love that. That was dope. I hope it becomes not just annual, but something that happens seasonally.
Right. And except we're consistently trying to think of new ways to improve it, maybe get some of the local businesses and small businesses involved because you know what, definitely, during this time, during the pandemic, a lot of businesses have lost revenue, and they're looking to try
Yeah.
to make a comeback. So I think that maybe for the next one we can try to get some like I said, the local businesses involved and have people come in and check them out, check out their products, food, and just really give them a new and different perception in Newark. That it's full of artists, it's full of great people, full of innovators, entrepreneurs, and just overall great people. I'm very proud to be from
Yeah.
the city.
Yeah, me too. I'm from Newark too. I saw in the comments the inimitable Janetta Miranda said that you could have it in all the five wards. That could be real
Yes,
dope. There's like gems
yes,
all around the city.
yes. So we're still planning
So
that
I
out.
want to move on to good, good, love it. Uh, in terms of collaboration,
Mhm.
who are some of your go-to collaborators in and around the city?
Well, definitely, my because the person who I consistently collaborate with is Gabe. Even during the pandemic, he's a very good writer. He's a very good graphic designer, and we just work well together. He's like we're like yin and yang. We just go in first full circles, and we just create just some dope work. You know what? Like I have my photography. So when I was out shooting, he was like, I want to put some graphics or I want to put like a design near the actual uh, photography, and we were able to do that. We also came up with a creative talk called From Newark with Love, and we were able to give people
Hmm.
who were maybe in a creative trying to figure out what they can do during the pandemic, and we had like a very good conversation about so whether if it's just creative development or just how do we create during like what's our process and what do we gain inspiration from, just so that way people can just feel encouraged and not feel
Hmm.
down whenever they're creating works. Also with I'm a collective, a land collective. We're actually working on projects now, mainly
Hmm.
a publication. So it's really good that different artists around Newark that we can actually come together and just create something. It's like being inside and not going out and seeing each other. It's a bit tough. So it's just I'm just happy that we just utilize the internet and social media to just create and just come together, even though we're far away.
Love that. Someone asked a question in the comments.
Mhm.
Um, how has the New York Times article that came out early this summer about the collective changed reception or awareness about your work?
Well, I don't necessarily think it may have changed our work, um, but I just think it's making the art world well aware of what's happening in Newark. That that first of all that there are creators who were creating during the pandemic and trying to figure out ways to be innovative and bring awareness to the city. And just the fact that Newark is a creative city. It's an artist hub, and they recently had the Creative Catalyst Fund, which they supported the arts, and that was included in the actual article. And like I said it's just great that the city is involved within the arts community and that they're supportive. And I think that
It
the New York
is.
Times
It is. It
article
is. Cultivate the artists.
it empowered us as a city.
Hmm. I had asked you about who your go-to collaborators, aside from Gabe. Is there anybody else that you like work with pretty regularly?
I feel like like Gabe is somebody who I work with regularly. But other than that, like I tend to photograph and do like small collaborations with different folks around the city. One of them, she's having a talk. Sally, I collaborate with her a lot. Zay, Isaiah, he's a collaborator as well. When he was running the Newark First Fridays, we actually had a photo lunch party.
Hmm.
where we actually, wanted the community to come in and have headshots, whether if it was like their professional life or whether they just want another, selfie or headshot for the social media. We wanted to just open the floor up to the community to have the photograph taken.
Yeah, I
Um,
remember that. Who, if you could have your way,
mhm.
who do you want to collaborate with that you haven't so far? It could be a Newark person, or it could be just someone in the world.
I think it's two people that I want to collaborate with. One photographer, he's well known in Newark. That's Akintola Hanif. I definitely want to collaborate with him. We
Little
could, do
Akintola.
some, yeah, Akintola. And honestly, he was definitely an inspiration for me to do shoot photography because, I mean, I was a photographer. I've been photographing for about 11 years now. And just seeing how he documents, the neighborhoods in Newark, it's kind of like, I want to, do the same thing and, and just, tell from my perspective, and have a different eye to it. But he's definitely one of the inspirations that made me want to get into street photography. So I definitely want to collaborate with him on some kind of publication or book.
Yeah.
Another one, he's his mentor, Jamel Shabazz. I actually had the chance to
Okay.
meet up with Jamel Shabazz when he came here to Newark to work on uh, this this overall project called A Call for Peace, and he was documenting veterans. And so we actually had the chance to
Hmm.
actually, walk around the city and talk and shoot and give me advice. And definitely, I would love to collaborate with him. Whether if it's like a piece on, documentarian or social justice or social justice issues. Yeah, like I said, those are the two people I would want to collaborate with.
Akintola and Jamel Shabazz.
Mhm.
Excellent. What kind of projects do you have brewing?
So currently, I am
Artists
working on my
always have something brewing.
right. So I'm actually working on a book at this very moment. It's called Walk With Me, and it's a compilation of images that I've taken throughout Newark from 2017 up until now. And I just want to just give my perspective of just being a wanderer, going out and just discovering Newark, and just from my perspective, just walking around because sometimes um, people, have like a different perception of Newark, in whatever way they choose to think. And, I just want to give them a different perspective, from my end. So like I said, and that should be coming about maybe later on this year. But I'll definitely keep everybody updated, just make sure you follow me.
There you go. Um, what piece of advice would you give to somebody who's getting interested in photography? I asked this like because I feel like that photographers' eyes, like y'all see stuff and you compose images in ways that I'm like, how did you even see? Like, how did you see that? How did you see that? And how did you see that? Right. So, um, what kind of advice would you lend to somebody who has either a good camera or who has an iPhone, whatever, just in how to look at pictures in a certain kind of way?
Well, I definitely would say, grab photo books. Photo books are like the biggest, teachers, because you get to see a certain situation that another photographer had, and you get to kind of just analyze, why, what actually, you know, moved them to actually make this image, why compose it this way, why use this particular image, and also it's finding your why, finding out what's your philosophy on why do you want to do photography and what moves you. That's the biggest thing because we everybody has a camera now. Like whether if you have like, an iPhone or just anything, just figure out your why. What moves you, and just go from there. Because like I said, if you can find that passion of what you love photographing, then you'll become one of the greats. And it's not about what kind of camera you have or how expensive it is. It's really about who's the person behind it, and what is your vision, and what kind of stories are you trying to tell. and how are you going to tell your truths? And those definitely the things that I would say that they should try out.
I could dig that. What personally on your end, what what do you want folks to take away from your work? Do you find that you want people to think something, or do you want them to feel something? What what do you try to impart through your creativity?
I think it's those, all, those two things there. But I also think it's just more so just, appreciating, what's happening in life, and actually, I guess finding truth within, my images. Because like I said, I don't do a lot of Photoshop. I don't do a lot of tweaking with my images. It's just, straight raw and, and just what I capture, so it's just to make you appreciate reality, question reality, and just, just notice that everything around you is beautiful, no matter what. And like I said, and for me, it's one thing for me to, put something out there and, to tell, my reason behind it, but I feel like it's more powerful when somebody takes it and makes it their own and puts their own, like, kind of like, perception or story behind it. Because there can be moments where, I may take, a photo of, a mother and her child, and that'll resonate with somebody, whether, like I said, and I could have just been, no, that's a great picture, but it may, come close to home for somebody. And that's what I want to do. I want to just make you think, just about life, maybe home, and all those different things.
Um, I want you to tell me a quick story.
Mhm.
I saw in your Instagram wall that you got to photograph Auntie Michelle Obama.
Yes, Michelle Obama. Like,
You
wow.
must tell us, take like a couple of minutes and talk to us about that moment and how that came about, and just you get it.
Well, yeah. So with that particular moment, a friend of mine, she does media. Her name is Amira Fair. She does a lot of radio and podcast interviews, and she randomly got an interview to say, "Hey, we would love for you to come out, and photograph Michelle Obama, and just capture her in Newark." Because I heard that Michelle was coming, in, but I didn't think I would get access to that. I just thought it was cool, and that, I wish I could be there. And then my friend Amira, she calls me to say, hey, I want you, would you be down to go out to the school where, Michelle Obama was visiting, to cover for, our college's, radio.
Hmm.
And as soon as she sent me that and the invitation, I was just like, wow, like I definitely would. I would love
For
to,
sure.
go there, document that. But just being there at the school is at St. Philip's Academy. I was in the press pool, so all the different media companies were there, whether it was Pix 11, ABC, CBS, you name it. But as soon as Michelle Obama walked in the room, it's like she sucked the air out of the room, and it was just so quiet. And I'm just looking at Michelle, and she's like walking through the school. She's talking to Al Roker, and I was just like, wow, like this is Michelle Obama. Like this is American history, like the first African American first lady. And she's here in Newark. Like I thought it was, that was awesome. It was cool, but it was just like, wow, like this is really, a piece of history. Like
Yeah, man.
not like not only like I said, not only for Newark, but just for the United States. And it was just awesome. Like she was only like a couple feet away from me, and Secret Service was there. They said, "Don't pass this rope." And for sure, nobody passed that rope, and they didn't ask. They was like, "Don't ask her to pose, nothing." It's like
And
just let her.
everybody listened.
Everybody listened. It was just so quiet, so quiet. But it was really an awesome experience, and I was just happy just to be there and document that.
So we've come to the end of our interview. I have one last question before I wrap
Hmm.
out.
Okay.
You're a working photographer, a working professional photographer.
Yes.
So if somebody were to want to hire you, what kind of jobs could they hire you for? And also, how can we reach you?
Okay. So I do a lot of photojournalistic work. So if you have a story that you want to, write and have photographs with, I do that. I do a lot of editorial work, fashion work. Like I said, I have worked in the fashion industry. Like I said, if it's weddings or even just like a traditional shoot where you want to get dressed up and have a picture taken. Like I said, I pretty much do it all. There's nothing that I couldn't do. And you can always reach out to me through my website, which is Chris Davis. So that's ChrysDavis.co. Okay, so it's chrisdavis.co. And except if you want to reach out to me, through Instagram, you can do that too. You can send me a DM, and we can definitely talk.
I could dig it. So, Chrystofer, thank you so much. And this is
Thank
really
you.
great chatting with you. And to everybody watching, tune in next week for the second edition of 10 North Creators with my very own Yasmin Fami, my colleague, who will be interviewing Newark Print Shop Director Lisa Conrad. Be sure to
Lisa.
follow NJPAC on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter to stay on top of all things NJPAC. I am your host, Katab Rollins, and we'll see you next time. Chris, great. Thank you. We'll be in touch.
Thank you. Yes, we will.
All right,
Take
everybody.
care.
Take care.